So our discussion is all about the macroeconomics. So during your midterm period, we talked about the microeconomics, one branch of economics that deals with individual units. This time, dun naman tayo sa macroeconomics. So alam naman natin that macroeconomics is one of the branches of economics that deals with the economy as a whole. So, tinitingnan natin yung economy, ina-analyze natin yung ekonomiya, yung isang bansa, yung isang region, yung isang continent or isang group of nations ng as a whole. Tinitingnan natin siya in aggregate. So, dito sa macroeconomics, we will study itong mga factors na nag-i-influence sa movement ng ating mga aggregate variables. So, ano ba itong mga variables na to? So, itong mga variables nito, ito yung mga tinatawag natin na GDP, GNP, employment, inflation, ganun. So, some of the key macroeconomic variables na na pag-uusapan natin for today's discussion is the aggregate output, or ito yun naman yung sinasabi natin na national output. So, pag aggregate, it's a whole. And then, also, we will talk about the inflation rate. So, ano na ba ang value ng mga prices over time? We will also talk about the unemployment rate. So, aaralin natin ano ba yung mga factors that affects or influence yung movement nitong national output, nitong inflation rate, nitong unemployment rate. Ayan. So, yun yung mga here in one of the economic variables, which is the national output. So, dito sa national output, we have here the national income accounting. So, this refers to the measurement of indicators of aggregate output or income like GDP or GNP. So, GDP and GNP are indicators of aggregate output or income. So, I'm sure familiar kayo what GDP is and what GNP also means. But we will still tackle it. We will still expound ano ba ito later on in the discussion. So, as of now, these are indicators of the national output of a certain country. Or let's say dito sa atin. Okay, now before natin malaman paano kino-compute ang GDP, GNP, paano natin na kukuha yung aggregate output, yung aggregate income, we first need to understand itong circular flow diagram. So, ito sa circular flow diagram, it summarizes the transactions between the different economic agents. Siyempre, paano natin malalaman yung components of GDP and GNP if we do not understand ano-ano yung mga economic agents that contributes to this national output? Ano ba yung mga... So, nandito yung circular flow diagram to show us the transactions that are existing in the economy. So, itong economic agents na to, sabi dito, between the different economic agents. So, ito yung mga nagko-contribute dun sa different components of GDP and GNP. Let's look at them in the next slide. So, sabi dito, the agents are households, of course, the firms or the businesses, the government, and also the rest of the world. Okay. Circular flow diagram. I have here the two-sector economy. First one is we have the firms. So, alam naman natin na itong firms or the businesses, they hire factors of production. So, itong factors of production, do you remember this one from the other videos or the lessons during our face-to-face lessons? So, itong factors of production, ito yung land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So the firms, they hire these factors of production in order to produce goods and services. And then firms then sell these goods and services to the household. So the other sector in the economy is the household. So this is just a two-sector economy circular flow diagram just to show you first the simple explanation or the simple diagram for on circular flow diagram. Okay, so ito naman mga households, they own the factors of the production. Ibig sabihin, itong households, ito tayo, ito yung mga individuals, ito yung mga consumers. Ayan. So, we own the factors of production that are hired by the firms. So, later on, makikita natin dito how both the firms and how the firms and the households interact with each other in a circular flow manner. So, ito yan. Sabi natin dito, the firms, they hire factors of production which is owned by the household. Kaya, household provides or gives firm, syempre, of course, may payment naman yan. So, factor services, a household provides factor services to the firms such as land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship actually. So, just add entrepreneurship here. Anong ibig sabihin nun? For a business to operate, they need a land, di ba? And sometimes binibili nila to from a certain person, let's say, from a certain consumer, from a certain owner, ganyan. They also need capital. So, kailangan nila yung mga materials nila, yung mga equipment, the machineries, they have to buy it somewhere. They also need labor. They need people to work on their stuffs. What else? Also entrepreneurship. So they hire experts para manage yung mga businesses nila. And these firms, of course, in order for them to, when they operate, they produces goods and services. And these goods and services are then sold to the household. Binibili natin yung mga ginagawa ng mga businesses. Also, another way to look at it, syempre, if we buy goods and services, the household pays for these goods and services. And itong payment natin sa firms is also their payment for the services or for the factors of production that they purchased from the households. So, wages, rent, interest, and profits, these are the different factor payments. So, kung meron tayong factors of production such as the land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, we also have factor payments. So, please take note of this. Factor payments are payments for each factors of production. For example, labor. The factor payment for labor is wages. Siyempre, pag nagtatrabaho yung isa, yung sahod niya, that is a wage. Also for land, rent, ang factor payments. For capital is also what? Is it interest or is it profit? So, for capital and entrepreneurship, ayan, may entrepreneurship din. So, for capital, that's interest, and entrepreneurship is profits. So, you can see from this simple two-sector economy circular flow diagram that na umiikot lang naman sa household and sa firms yung goods and services as well as the factors of production. Okay. Now, itong firms and households na to, we can actually also show it in this way. Ayan, we have the product market and the factor market. Basically, the factor service or the factors of production that we provide for the firms, it passes through the factor market. And the households buying goods and services from the firms, yung goods and services natin, it passes through the product market. And then also, of course, the households, they buy these goods and services. So they pay or they spend some money, which in turn received by the firm as their revenue. And ito naman, si firms naman, when they buy these factors of production, may bayad sila dyan. It is what we call the factor payments. Ito nga tinatawag natin na wages, interest, profits, and rent. And in turn, itong households naman, they receive this payment as their income. So ganito nagpo-flow yung pera in a two-sector circular flow diagram. Two-sector economy using this circular flow diagram. Now, of course, another economic agent, hindi lang naman yung household and yung firms, yung nandun sa economy natin. Meron din tayong government. And of course, meron din tayong mga um, foreign agents, or ito yung mga foreigners, let's say, ganyan. Or the outside world, or hindi outside world. I mean, ito yung mga hindi Filipino. Okay. So, we need to introduce the government and the foreign agents to the circular flow diagram. So, bakit? Kasi yung gobyerno natin, they also purchases goods and services, tama? So, di ba, bumibili din sila ng mga papel, bumibili din sila ng mga folder para sa mga offices nila, sa mga chairs and all. Also, nagbabayad din sila ng mga sa lupa, sa capital, sa labor, so yung mga tauhan nila, mga experts, pinabayaran din yun ng gobyerno. And also, there is a transfer payments between different agents. So in the case of government, itong transfer payments, ito yung transactions wherein one party is not obliged to deliver a good or service in return for the payments. Di ba normally dun sa circular flow diagram with mayroong two-sector economy such as the firms and the households, di ba may kabayaran or may in return yung ating pag-purchase ng good or service. Di ba? Bibili tayo ng goods and service sa firms, pero magbabayad tayo. Nag-i-incur tayo ng consumer spending. However, when we say transfer payments, ito naman yung mga transaction na kung saan walang kapalit. Ganon. So, example, retirement benefits. So, yung mga retired na ngayon, they are receiving benefits from the government without having to pay for it or to work for it. So, ano pa? Scholarships, donations. So, etong mga to are considered transfer payments. So, walang circular notion sa transfer payments. And then, of course, firms and households, we pay taxes to the government. So, meron tayong tax sa income natin. Meron tayong tax sa properties natin. So, real property tax. Meron din tayong tax sa goods and services natin. So, ito yung mga value-added tax. And then, of course, we are also transacting with the foreign sector. So, hindi naman lahat kaya nating i-produce in the country. That's why we import goods from other countries. So, importation means buying goods from other countries kasi we may not have enough of these goods or pwedeng hindi competitive yung goods na meron tayo dito sa country natin. So, we will also talk about that competitive advantage later on in this period, final period. We also have, syempre, the same with yung other countries naman, pwedeng may mga kailangan din sila na wala rin sa kanilang bansa. So, we have to, or pwedeng may kailangan sila na nandito sa atin lang mabibili o mapapurchase or mapoproduce. So, we are also exporting our products. So, nagbebenta din tayo ng mga produced natin to other countries and we call that export. Export. Okay. Now, let us incorporate them in the circle, or at least the government lang. Let's incorporate the government to the circular flow diagram. So, the government will be at the middle of the circular flow diagram. So, the government, as I said a while ago, they purchase goods and services from the product market. And they also buy resources or the factors of the production. They buy land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, or they hire these resources. And then syempre, they also buy these goods and services from the product market which are produced by the firms. Ano pa? In return, syempre, nagbabayad sila dun sa product market as well as to the factor market. So that's what we call that's what we account as the government spending. So that is government spending. Also, we said a while ago that the households and the firms pay taxes to the government. So may patax tayo sa gobyerno. And in return, the government provides welfare and to the households or the transfer payments as well as the subsidies dito or public goods dito sa firm. So ano ba 'tong mga sinasabing public goods? Public goods, these are kunwari yung mga tulay, maayos na tulay, mga buildings, ayan, or mga roads na maayos na ganyan. So this is how a circular flow matrix looks like kapag nandiyan na si gobyerno. And of course, itong ekonomiya natin also interacts with the foreign sector. So we export our products and we also import from different countries. Okay. Now that we understand itong circular flow matrix, nalaman na natin kung saan or ano ba yung mga pinagagastusan, ano yung in terms of production dito sa buong ekonomiya natin. So, we have here the GDP or the gross domestic product. Generally, this is used as an indicator of the output and the income of an economy. So, sabi dito, GDP measures the market value of all final goods and services produced within an economy in a given period. So, napakaraming highlighted terms dito. Napakaraming emphasis ang gagawin natin dito to make you understand what GDP really means. So, si GDP, ine-exclude nito yung mga bagay na walang market value kasi nakafocus tayo sa market value eh. So, later I will discuss that. Ayan. Let's focus first dito sa sinasabi ng market value. So GDP uses market values and is expressed in the currency of a country. So for example sa atin in the Philippines, ang currency natin is peso. So ang GDP is also in peso naman. So dito, by the way, before I proceed, sabi dito, GDP measures the market value. Ibig sabihin, hindi kasama dito yung mga bagay na walang market value. Anong minimin natin nun? Kunwari, nagtrabaho ka sa sarili nyong tindahan or sarili nyong restaurant. Wala kang bayad kasi kasi you are anak ka ng owner. Ganyan. Walang market value doon. Bakit? Kasi hindi ka naman ginagastusan, hindi ka naman sinasahuran, o walang payment na nangyayari. Even though you contributed to the output of the restaurant, walang market value doon. So, hindi natin yun ini-include when we compute for the gross domestic product. So, si GDP, ayan, syempre, ang GDP, hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin na ang na-produce ng Pilipinas ay 10 tsinelas, 5 sakong bigas, ganyan. We need to provide value. And alam naman natin, now, the value of a good is simply the quantity of the good times the price. Kunwari, bumili kayo ng stick o, ados yung stick o, 5 yung binili nyo. So, the quantity is 5. 5 times 2, 10. So, naglabas ka or nagbayad ka ng 10 pesos. So, that is the market value of what you bought. So, GDP is the sum of the market values of all final goods and services. So, lahat ng final goods and services, ekonomiya natin, ay pinag-a-add yan, and then we get our GDP. Okay. Another emphasis here in the definition of GDP is final goods and services. So, dito, when we say final goods, ang ina-account lang natin for the computation of GDP is yung mga pinapurchase natin for consumption. Okay, so for example, in order to para makagawa ng fries, ayan, para makagawa ng fries, kailangan ng asin, kailangan ng patatas, kailangan ng paminta, kailangan ng cheese powder, ayan. So, yung patatas na yun, na ginamit natin to make, para makagawa kayo ng fries, is hindi natin yun i-account sa GDP. Bakit? Kasi gagamitin nyo pa siya para maging fries. Kasi, kung let's say, 10 pesos yung patatas, tapos 25 pesos yung fries. Ayan. So, kapag in-account mo na yung fries na 25 pesos, tapos i-account mo pa si patatas na ginamit mo para makagawa ng fries, magkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag natin na double counting. Kaya, hindi natin sinasama yung mga intermediate goods or yung mga goods na binibili mo para makaproduce ka ng other goods or makaproduce ka ng other service or maka-ibenta mo siya ulit. So, we only consider here the final goods. Pwedeng sa farmers, ang final goods nila is patatas. Pero itong patatas na to, hindi mo pa ito agad masasabing final goods if yung bumili nito is gagamitin to to make or para magbenta din ng fries. Ayan. So, we are only accounting the final goods. Okay. Now, also sabi din dito, produced. So, GDP only measures, in terms of production, ang mini-measure ng GDP is yung current production. So, hindi niya dito sinasama yung mga transfer payments and the transactions of goods that were produced in other periods. So, for example, let's say, the retirement benefits. Di ba yung retirement benefits, wala naman yung kapalit. May kapalit siya, pero it's like a service. Let's say, pag nag-serve ka na sa government ng ganito katagal or what, so di natin malalaman saan siya i-account. Itong year ba? And so, syempre yung naging service na yon, it was already included in the GDP during those years. So, kapag binayaran natin, let's say, ng retirement benefit yung isang tao, di na natin ina-account yung retirement benefit niya. Kasi double counting na naman yun. And then we also don't have to consider the goods that are produced in other periods. Especially kapag kunwari bumibili tayo ng mga second-hand goods. Kunwari yung kotse. It's 2020 model siya. 2020 siya produced. Pero binili mo siya may-ari na nun, tapos binili mo siya, second hand na siya ngayon. So, hindi na siya considered as part of the GDP today. So, yung mga second hand goods, they are excluded in the computation of the GDP. Also, sabi dito, GDP measures those final goods within an economy. So, when we say economy, it is usually a country, so the Philippines, pwedeng region. So, meron din tayong mga gross regional domestic product. So, or ito yung mga GRDP ng Region 5, Caraga, ayan. So, iba't ibang regions, pwede din natin ma-compute yung GDP per region. And of course, a group of countries. So, ina-add na lang yung sa different countries para makuha yung GDP nila. And GDP, it measures the market value of all final goods and services produced within the boundaries of the Philippines, whether by Filipinos or foreign supplied resources. So, we are also going to consider these foreign supplied resources. And then, sabi dito, it's in a given period. So, yung economy is wala, nawala. No, the same lang pala. Okay, so, si GDP, usually, the period na kinocompute natin yung GDP is quarterly and annually. Yeah. So, in other countries naman, ganun din, but we have to take note that iba yung quarter ng Philippines sa quarter ng ibang bansa. For example, yung Japan ba yun? Hindi. Basta there are other countries na nagsisimula yung kanilang year, yun ang nagsisimula ng year. Parang fiscal year nila, nagsisimula ng April, ganyan. So, pwedeng, kung sa atin, March ang first quarter, sa iba, June ang first quarter nila. So, when comparing itong GDP of different countries, we need to also know itong mga bagay-bagay nito. Okay. Now, GDP and GNP. So, GDP yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina. GNP naman is calculated using the equation, this equation. So, GNP is equal to GDP plus NPIRW, or the net primary income from the rest of the world. So, sometimes itong NPIRW is also referred as the net factor income from the rest of the world sa ibang mga references. So, pwedeng makita nyo sa ibang references na GNP is equal to GDP plus NFIRW. So, that's net factor income from the rest of the world. So, GNP is also called the gross national income. So, basically, si GNP pala, is also the GDP plus, inaalam din natin itong NPIRW. Ano nga ba to? So, NPIRW, or the net primary income from the rest of the world, it refers, or it measures the differences, or the difference between the earnings of Philippine residents in other countries and foreign residents in the Philippines. Okay. So, dito, sinosubtract natin yung earnings ng mga Pilipino from other countries. Kunwari, may Pilipino na pumunta sa, tawag dito. May Pilipino na nag-work sa ibang country, but hindi naman sila nagpa-change ng citizenship. They are still Filipinos. Ayan. We are going to account itong output nila kasi still they are part of the Philippine economy. And then, meron din naman tayo dito sa Pilipinas na mga foreign residents. Di ba maraming BPO dito? Ano pa? Marami ding mga foreigners dito na hindi naman din Pilipino. But, they are also contributing to the output in the Philippines, to the economy of the Philippines. So, NPIRW, basically, we just subtract itong nagawa or na-produce ng mga foreign residents natin dito sa Pilipinas dun sa mga naging output ng Philippine residents natin in other countries. So, ibig sabihin, kapag positive or greater than 0 ang NPIRW natin, ibig sabihin, mas marami yung na-produce or na-earn ng mga Pilipino abroad kesa sa na-earn ng mga foreign residents dito sa Pilipinas. So, yung GNP, it really tells us that NPIRW greater than 0 means that GNP is greater than the GDP. Okay. Now, for us to easily understand or easily natin makuha ano ba tong GDP and GNP na to. GDP is the value of output in the Philippines regardless of who makes it. So, gawa dito sa Pinas. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng ginagawa dito, whether it is produced by a foreigner, i-add natin yun dito. It will account to the GDP. And the GNP naman is the value of the output of Filipinos regardless of where it is made. Gawa man yan sa abroad or gawa dito, we are going to account it in GNP. So, GNP gawa ng Pinoy. For you to easily remember the meaning of these two economic indicators. Okay, now there are three equivalent approaches for measuring GDP. So when we say equivalent, pare-parehas yung outcome or yung output na nakukuha natin when we are measuring GDP using these different approaches. So we have the expenditure approach, meron din tayong income approach, and we also have the value-added approach. Okay, so let's explore each of these one by one. Okay, so the expenditure approach, from the term itself, it's the summation of all the expenditures on final goods. So for example, meron tayo ditong two um two goods. Let's say we are only producing two goods in our economy. So we have the ice cream and the book. Ayan. So, in order for us, di ba, syempre, yung gastos natin, it depends on the price as well as on the quantity of the good that we bought. So, let's say 100 yung price ng ice cream and yung quantity sold is 10. So, we spend 1,050 yung price ng buko, 5 yung sold. We spent 250. So the expenditure or the GDP is 1,250. That's as easy as that. Okay, we also have the income approach. Diba sabi natin the circular flow motion, circular flow diagram, yung bayad ng firm dun sa household, such as the wages, the rent, the profits, ayan, the rent, ito ba lahat ba? Wages, interest, rents, and profits. These are received by the household as their income. So, ito yung mga i-add natin in the income approach. So, in addition, a portion is provided for capital consumption allowance or depreciation in direct business taxes. So, later on, we will also discuss that. So, this is just an overview of the three different approaches on how to solve this GDP. Okay, now we also have here the value-added approach, or this is the sum of the value-added of firms and activities. So, paano ba yan? Value-added is just simply the sales, yung benta natin, minus the purchases from other firms. So, later on, I will discuss that one by one. Ay, ito na pala siya. Okay. So, let's say, for example, so, this is just an income statement of a hypothetical firm. So, let's say, yung business, nakabenta siya ng 1,000 pesos. Siyempre, nagbayad siya sa pasahod sa mga workers. Nagbayad siya ng, yan, ito yung mga cost niya, wages, interest. Nagbayad din siya ng rent, ng pinambili niya. So, ito lahat-lahat yung components ng kanyang cost. So, we have here 100, 100, 100, 300. And when we add all of this, this is what? This is 600. 100 plus 100, 200, 300, 600. So, 1,000 minus 600, the profit is 400. And when we apply the formula, sabi diba, value added is simply the sales minus the purchases from other firms. So, let's say the purchases from other firms, sabi dito, is 300. So, 1,000 minus 300 is 700. The same will appear kapag ang ginamit natin yung isa pang formula. Ito yung isa formula ng income approach. So, sabi doon, wages plus rent plus interest plus profit. So, when we add all of this, we will get what? 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 400, we get 700. So, using the value-added approach and the income approach, we get a GDP or the value-added value of 700. Okay. Now, paano ba naging equivalent itong mga approaches na to? Paano natin nasabi na when we use the income approach, we will get the same result when we use the expenditure approach? When we use the income approach, we will get the same result as the value-added approach. So, dito sa first, sabi dito, transaction is an expenditure from the viewpoint of the party making the payment, an income from the viewpoint of the party receiving the payment. So, nakita din natin dito sa circular flow diagram kanina na yung gastos natin, let's say ang payment natin for the goods will be received as the revenue of the firms. So, gastos natin siya, pero income siya nung kabilang party. Ayan. So, kung ano yung ginastos natin, yun din yung marireceive ng other party. So, whether we use income or the expenditure approach, we will get the same value. Also, the income and value added as proven na to sa discussion natin kanina dun sa income statement. So, the same lang din naman. Okay. Now, let's proceed to the value-added approach or GDP by industrial origin. So, GDP, it is classified by major sectors or activities. So, with the data given below, we have here the different sectors such as the agriculture, hunting, forestry, and fishing. And one of the sectors, we also have the industry sector and the services sector. So kapag inad natin yung iba't ibang value added in these different sectors, we will get the GDP. By the way, this is a real data from PSA. So this is the GDP of the Republic of the Philippines in 2018. So we have here 17.4. So ito yung value ng agriculture, hunting, forestry and fishing, and industry and services. So we can see here, di ba, na although the agriculture is the backbone of the economy, we receive the lowest share in the GDP. So this is the sad reality through these years na we are considered, or the agriculture sector is considered as the backbone in the economy, yet we only contribute 9.3% in the case of 2018 in the economy, in the GDP of the economy. So, now overtaken na siya ng industry and even the services. Ayan. Okay. So, the VA, or this agriculture, hunting, forestry, and fishing, this includes the value added of activities in the production, the harvesting of crops, livestock, and poultry, agricultural service, fishery, and the forestry subsectors. Crops may be disaggregated further into palay, corn, coconut, sugarcane, banana. So, ibig sabihin, pwede naman tong ma-divide pa into different, crops like palay, etc. And then we also have the industry. So the industry includes the value added of activities in mining, quarrying, food and non-food manufacturing, construction, and utilities. So na-overtake na tayo ditong mga industries na to. They are providing more value added sa kanilang mga activities than dito sa agriculture. And then we also have the services. So this includes the value added of activities engaged in transport, communication, storage, trade, ownership of dwellings and real estate, private services, and the government services. So ito na yung pinakamalaking share sa GDP natin. Siyempre, transportation. For example, ito mga nasa MRT, LRT. Daily ba naman, napakarami ng mga pasahero dyan. Communication. So, grabe din naman yung use natin ng mga social media to communicate, diba? And, rami na din ngayon nagtitrade. Ayan. So, kaya umusbong yung service sector natin. So, of course, we aim that itong agriculture sector somehow will improve na din naman in the future. Okay. So, that is for the value added approach. So, basically, you just get the value added for each that is by sector pala. Okay. Now, ito naman, let's proceed muna sa expenditure approach. So, GDP, di ba sabi natin, is yung expenditure approach is all about the spending. Ayan. So, nag-spend tayo, let's say, in the two economy, we get the price times quantity. And so, ganun din naman, in the different sectors, different agents in the economy, meron din silang mga kagastusan. For example, ito, household consumption, which is C. Government consumption, G. Gross capital formation, I. Or this is the investment. So later on, you will understand this. Exports, imports, and the statistical discrepancy. So let's first focus ito sa C or sa household consumption. So consumption to or spending to ng mga households, ng mga private, non-profit institutions sa kanilang mga goods and services. So yung goods, these are further classified into the durable goods and the non-durable goods. So, pag sinasabi natin non-durable goods, these are goods and services that are used immediately. Kunwari, yung mga pagkain, or mga agricultural foods, kinakain natin siya agad. We consume them immediately. And then, meron din tayong mga durable goods, or these are goods that, ano ba, last for a long period of time. So, for example, yung mga payong, mga bag, ayan. So, in 2018, this is also the GDP in 2018, the consumption of the household has the highest share in the GDP. Marami tayong mga pino-purchase na mga goods and services. And then, we also have the government spending. So, in 2018, yung government spending is the least among the different components of this expenditure approach. Ayan. Let's see. Okay. Balik ulit tayo sa C, sa consumption pala. So, itong consumption to, of course, we spend our money, the household spend their money. So, for renters, consumption includes rent payments. For homeowners, consumption includes the imputed rental value of the house, but not the purchase price or mortgage payments. Ibig sabihin, ano ba yung intended rental price ng kanilang bahay, let's say? Yeah. If they own the house, what is included in the consumption component of this expenditure approach is the imputed rental value of the house. So, ano ba yung dapat sanang rental value ng house nila if it is rented by others? Okay. We also have the government. Simply sabi dito, the government, this presents expenditures of government on goods and services and salaries of its workforce. So, syempre, yung gobyerno naman natin is also they spend some money on goods and services. Nagbabayad din sila ng kanilang mga tauhan. Yeah. So, that is a component of the government. However, again, as we said nga, di ba, excluded ang transfer payments. Yung mga binabayad nilang benefits, mga disaster relief funds, mga grants, mga pension, lahat yun is not included in the component of government spending. We also have the I or the investment. So this represents the investment spending of domestic agents. Its major components are expenditures on fixed capital and changes. Basically, ang sinasabi lang nito is that investment is the spending of the businesses Ayan. So, kunwari, may isang business, they are going to put up their business. Yung spending nila in terms of buying machines, putting up a building para to operate their business, it will all fall under the investment account. Okay. We also have, ayan. So sabi dito, supported by this statement. Total spending on goods that will be used in the future to produce more goods. So example nito is yung mga capital equipment such as yung machineries and tools, the factories, the office buildings, the houses, and even the inventory. So yung mga goods na na-produce na pero hindi pa nabebenta. Okay. And then we also have the exports. So this represents the spending of the, ayan, so export natin is 5.5. We can see that the import is higher. Ay, or nakaless na ba to? Okay, so this represents the spending of foreigners on goods and non-factor services produced in the Philippines. So, syempre ito yung mga binibenta nating mga, let's say yung abaka. If we are exporting abaka, I don't know if qualified pa bang abaka, quality of abaka natin to be exported, or is it in demand from other countries? So, wait, I'm just computing the ano, GDP. Kung talaga bang, okay. So, na-confirm ko na 7.7 is being deducted dito sa total nito. Ibig sabihin, mas mataas yung import natin kaysa sa export natin. And this means that somehow we rely on the goods and services of other countries din. So, syempre, yung aim talaga natin is to, what? Our aim is to export. Gusto natin may export tayo rather than importing. But syempre, not all the time the best option is to export our products. Sometimes the best choice is to import. Why? Kasi pwedeng we are not competitive enough for a certain good or service. Kaya it is best to import. Ayan. But we will understand that later in this period. Okay. Now, M, or the import, sabi nga natin, is the expenditure of the Philippines on the goods produced by other countries. So this is subtracted because CIG are composed of spending on Philippine-made and foreign goods. So yung mga ini-import natin ay dahil yung C, the consumption of the households, the investments, and the government are spending on Philippine-made and foreign goods. Kasi syempre, yung consumption natin, pwedeng bumibili tayo ng product ng other foreigners. Yung investment natin, pwedeng nag-hire tayo ng foreigners. Yung government spending natin, pwedeng bumibili din tayo from foreigners. So, itong imported products, yung spending natin on imports will be deducted from this initial summation of CGI-X. Ayan. Kaya, i-deduct natin siya. Okay. And then we get our GDP. So, meron din tayong tinatawag na net exports. So, NX or the net export is basically we just subtract the imports, the value of our imported products to the value of our exported products. Ayan.